Hello, welcome. I am having a go at making one of these videos. So we shall see how it goes and hopefully it won't be too rambly. I am a long time knitter and I really enjoy watching these kind of videos where people show all the things that they have made, all the things that they're making. So I thought I would give it a go. Next to me I've got a pile of 3 things that I've made recently and then 3 of my things I'm working on at the moment. And yeah, thought I would dive right in. So the first thing that I have that I've made is just this pair of socks. So a bit boring maybe to start, but they're really nice. I'm gonna call them self-drafted. So they're this 3x1 ribbed sock, and when I started making socks, or like when I've just kind of started making socks that actually fit me, I started with a pattern called Wise Hilda's Basic Ribbed Sock, something like that, and she's the person who's done this this 3x1, which I really like, especially for self-patterning yarn. I just feel like it lets the pattern show through without being too like busy where the purl is, or if you're doing 1x1 rib, and it's not as tedious as doing 1x1 rib for a whole sock either. So yeah, that was my starting point. But since then I have added this 1x1 cuff, and I changed the heel for this pair of socks because I wanted a bit more of a contrast on my heel, so it's a wrap and turn heel rather than the kind of gusset heel flap one that she uses. And I've redesigned the toe as well, because in that pattern it was just a little bit pointy for me. So I don't know at this point maybe whether I can say that they're just my socks, but yeah, I'm really happy with them. I feel like I've made a lot of really bad socks in my life, and now the last 4 or 5 pairs that I've made, just I know how many stitches I need to use. I know how long my feet are. Yeah, they've started to actually fit me and for me to wear them. The yarn is just bits, so the red is just some 4-ply that I had in my stash. The beautiful patterning, I'm afraid I don't know the name of, and that is because I bought it probably 10 years ago when I made this absolutely ridiculous sock. I think I vaguely remember at the time I thought I needed 2 balls, and then for whatever reason, having bought that yarn, I was determined to use up all of it to make 1 pair of socks. I don't know, I think that's the only reason why I made them such a crazy length. And yeah, they're obviously really, really long. They're really wide as well. I think at the time I was using 3mm needles, which felt really thin, but now that's way too big to use to make socks. And yeah, they're very slouchy, really long, they kind of just fall off your feet. And for that reason anyway, they've been in a drawer since they made, I should say, I think this is maybe the 2nd pair of socks ever made. But yeah, they've been in a drawer for 10 years. And I thought that was a bit silly. So I have turned 1 sock already into this pair. And then at some point I will turn this other sock into another pair, maybe with different coloured kind of contrasting bits. So it's a bit different. Yeah, I will do that at some point. So the next thing I have to show you is the best thing I have made this year, and probably the best thing I will make this year. And it is this tiny little Just a Mouse with a real bell that rings, and just very, very cute. He's got a little tail that's made from kind of, like when you make rope with yarn. He is very, very cute. He is from a pattern called Medieval Mice by Alan Dart, which I bought initially to make the princess mouse for my niece, which I did make, and I will show it somehow there. And then once I'd made it, I just had to make the gesture as well. He's just from scraps of my 4-ply. I should say the pattern itself is supposed to be for 4mm needles, I think, and double knit yarn. So you make a mouse about twice the size of this guy. But I really wanted like a pocket-sized mouse. He could sit on my shoulder, maybe, I don't know. He's just very cute. And if you do get the pattern, you can make a monk mouse, you can make peasant mice, you can make king mouse, knight mice. It's a really fun pattern, and actually he's got a few different really cute toy patterns. So that was really good. And then the last thing I've made that I finished recently, this is probably like 2 or 3 months worth of stuff for me, really. I'm like quite a fast knitter, I would say, but I just don't put in the hours. I've got a job. So yeah, it's not loads and loads of stuff. Anyway, so this last thing is this tomato vest. So the vest itself is the Stockholm slipover by Petite Knit. And I wanted to make it because I had this plan that I was going to make a Christmas vest for myself, and I've got this book on knitted Moomin socks, and in it, which I have bookmarked, is this really cute Christmas Moomin scene. And as far as my thought process went, this vest is knitted in the round, the socks are knitted in the round. That will obviously work out. But it was only when I realised, I basically started it before I thought about it. And it was only when I realised all the rows in between the snow, where in the sock pattern you only have to carry the float around a little bit. For this pattern, sorry if this is a very tedious story, but for this pattern, you'd have to carry it all the way around to get back to the front again, and I just didn't want to do that, and it was looking really busy and horrible. So I gave up with that idea, and I had the yarn already, so which was a Viking Garn navy 100% wool yarn, and so I had the yarn already, so I figured I might as well finish the vest. And then once I had finished my navy vest, I'd seen on Instagram this design, which is by Studio Clara, and I really like it. I really like the tomatoes, so I bought her pattern. I bought her pattern for the big tomatoes as well, and because it's duplicate stitch, it didn't matter that it wasn't the right vest pattern. I could just put them on the top. And I will say, like, obviously then that worked out really well for me, and I think actually on camera it looks really lovely, but I didn't like the process of duplicate stitching it. I don't particularly like embroidery, so I didn't find it an enjoyable experience. And I don't know whether this is just because I used slightly too thick yarn, like this was just some acrylic that I had in my stash already, but the tomatoes are very rigid, and then I just think it's not that neat. And again, maybe this is just my kind of lack of skill with duplicate stitch, but I just feel like there are all these places where you can see some of the navy through, and I just think if I was going to do it again, I would have just made it flat and intarsiated the tomatoes and maybe duplicate stitched the vines, and I just think it would have been a better project and I would have enjoyed it a lot more. And yeah, maybe this is my controversial knitting take, is that a lot of these big patterns with huge duplicate stitch projects, I think, are just designed because people don't like knitting like purling. People don't like knitting anything that's not in the round, and then when you kind of limit yourself, when you're stuck like that, you can't do anything, any kind of design like this, because you would have to make this flat. So yeah, you end up embroidering the whole design. I don't know. That's my take. Yeah, like I said, I like the way it looks. The actual tomato design I do think is really cool, but the construction, it worked for me because I'd already made the vest. But if I do make her tomato jumper, which I think is really cool, I think I would just either adapt that pattern or find a different pattern that was knitted flat, because yeah, I wouldn't repeat the duplicate stitch process again, I don't think. So yeah, that's my 3 kind of recently finished projects. And then for things I'm working on, the first is this. So this is my traveling knitting bag, and I always keep a pair of socks in here, and as soon as I finish some socks I just start some new ones. And this is just if I'm on the train, if I just need a light project that I can take with me somewhere, that's my go-to. So these are the socks that I am working on at the moment. It's just, again, that my go-to 3x1 ribbed socks, and then I've done a reinforced slipped stitch heel, and yeah, contrast cuff, and it'll have a contrast toe when I get to that point, which is not far off. I tend to, with these kind of projects, they'll either, I'm going somewhere and I'm traveling and they'll take me, each pair of socks will take me a couple of days, or they will languish there for ages. But I travelled to see my parents last weekend, so I got quite a lot done on the train. And then these have also been coming with me. It's the World Cup at the moment, so every time I've been going to watch a match, these like at the pub or something, these socks have been coming with me, and yeah, that's been quite nice. The yarn, again, I don't know, I think I got this from a friend maybe, but it's very nice. It's not quite doesn't quite make stripes. It kind of is almost more of a variegated yarn, but it's very pretty. And I actually used, I think it's up there, yeah. At the beginning of this year I had to go at some needle felting, and I made this little mouse, and then when he was finished I knitted him this jumper in the same yarn, so it was quite cute. But yeah, those are my socks. I'm never in a rush to finish them really, because yeah, as soon as I finish them I'll just start some more socks. And what I am trying to be really strict about though is not buying any more sock yarn, because I have this like absolutely enormous bag of 4-ply sock yarn bits, and it's definitely enough for the next, I don't even know, 10 years maybe. So I'm just, every time I'm making some socks, I'm just trying to just use something from there and not get excited and buy. We'll see how long that lasts, but yeah, not get excited and buy something new. So that is that. And then this project is probably the one I am working on most at the moment and I'm most excited about, and it is my Olga jumper, and it's in Baa Ram Ewe, Eden, in their colours, sage, which is this like sagey, not sage, evergreen, which is this sage green, and magma, which is this kind of burgundy colour. Yeah, I don't know what else to say really about this. It's a really nice pattern. All of petite knit patterns, like, they just kind of work, don't they? I do think maybe I don't know how much my shoulders are going to drop, but we'll see if that blocks out or not. But yeah, I've done the neckline. I think that's gone very well. I'm towards full at the ends in sight of when I'm gonna get to start the ribbing for the bottom. And yeah, I just enjoy it. I really, as you can probably tell, I do enjoy a stripe. So this is the Ozetta cardigan, the Traveller's cardigan even by Ozetta. And yeah, so I am excited to finish this, and it's kind of, I enjoy a stripe, but I feel like these colours aren't really something that I have in my wardrobe at the moment, so I think that's quite exciting. Though I do worry, is it a bit Dennis the Menace, but I'll not, I feel like that's the kind of comment my dad would make, so I'll not worry about that until I finish it. But yeah, I'm really liking it. The yarn is really beautiful. It's kind of rusticy, slightly, not exactly scratchy, but like a little bit rough, which I quite like. It makes it feel really cozy for me, and yeah, it's a good project. This is the one I'm kind of churning through at the moment, because my other work in progress, which is attached, this one, and this is my final kind of final project that I'm working on, is the Moby sweater, also by Petite Knit. It's absolutely beautiful. I am using West Yorkshire Spinners Cosmic Tweed with drops kid silk mohair in their navy, and yeah, it's coming out really nicely. It's definitely a bit more of a kind of brain project, I guess, and also it's been very hot in the UK, so like all these things I haven't really been working on it at all, but I'm really liking the process. I think the using both yarns together has it's made it really thick, so you can really see all the cabling and all of that. And the ultimate goal with this project is, so as a slight bit of a theme for this video, I am a bit of a chronic unraveler. Like I will see a project through to the end and be in complete denial about how poorly it's gonna fit, or I really believe in the power of blocking against all the evidence, and so I made this jumper. I think I finished about the middle of last year, which I am part way through. I'm knitting directly onto the Moby sweater, and I really like the idea behind it. I really want to own a top that says I knitted this. I just think that'd be really fun. I like the neon green with the navy, but I just think this is a bit of a boring jumper for it to be this project. And there's a few things that I didn't really like about it. Like I think I picked a needle that is slightly too big for the yarn, so it's very, very drapey, and I do like my jumpers to be a little bit more structured. The neckline is a little bit wide, and it's just slightly boring. Like obviously the dream is that people are going to say, did you really, when I wear this jumper that says I knitted this, and I want it to be a really special jumper that I do that for. So yeah, I'm unraveling it straight from this into this. And I think the last thing also to say is the yarn for just on its own, I think is a little bit more of a denim blue than I actually like. It's a bit cold, whereas now it's being held with the navy. I don't know if that particularly shows up that well, but I just think the with the drops, it's just a richer, kind of slightly warmer colour. Yeah, so I'm liking that a lot more. And I think maybe in September, I'm going to have a real strong urge to wear it over the winter and yeah, get back to it. But yeah, so those are all the projects that I have that I'm making at the moment. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would be so interested to hear what you think. I have enjoyed making it. I think I'd quite like to make one of those videos where people show like their knitted wardrobe, all the things that they've made that they wear the most. I think that would be kind of fun. I mean, I'd quite like to make another one of these videos, I think, but that would definitely have to be at least a couple of months' time, just because otherwise I wouldn't have anything to show. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you.